Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a watch launched in 2011, and if the Millenary ever had a chance at making it, this was the model that would have made it happen. This is the Millenary 4101, named after its movement, the 4101, and it is a spectacular watch in every regard. So it's part of the Millenary family that launched in 1995, but it's of the larger second generation. So not including the crown, it has a width of 47 millimeters. It has a thickness of 13.1, and from lug tip to lug tip, it measures 49.3 millimeters with a broad 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see the watch is actually fairly narrow across the wrist. You get the wrong idea if you read the 47 millimeter sizing. This is nothing like a 47 millimeter watch. It doesn't wear like a 47 Panerai. It doesn't wear like a 48 Hublot. This is a much easier to wear watch across the wrist than even a 42 millimeter Royal Oak Offshore. You can also see it's fairly thin, so most cuffs will ride up and over this. It is a dress watch, though an extravagant dress watch. It should fit underneath the cuff, and you'll have no trouble with that. The strap, truth be told, is really more like 24.5 millimeters. You can see how there's a little bit of clearance on each side, and then there's a curved spring bar so that the lugs can be drilled super close to the case, and then that curved bar prevents the flank of the case from impeding the range of motion of the strap. The strap is dark brown. It's large rectangular scale alligator leather. It's got a monotone stitch, a folded edge on the bottom. There's calfskin. You can see that there's a deployant clasp. It's a single fold deployant, the logo style AP deployant clasp. So when it's closed, it's friction fit. It does give you plenty of security against dropping your watch, as the idea is to create a loop with a deployant clasp so you can't drop the watch off the wrist in an instant. The watch also includes a dramatic case band. As you can see, the lugs are sharply broken out from the case flank. There are lateral steps on the lugs, so you can see how there's a little bit of a tier that tapers down towards the end, and then they're stepped from the top, fluted and graduated downward. You have the primary lug, you have the step, then you have the secondary, and then there's a vertical brushing along the side and a longitudinal set on the case band. You can see that the case band actually has a dramatic number of dimensions. It has an underside, a lateral aspect, and then a top. You have those lugs sharply broken out from the case band at all four corners, and then a bezel that sits atop and inboard of the main case. That bezel is all of high polish, and you can see it actually sinks below the hoods of the lugs to make the watch thinner. The crown is a sort of vintage-inspired, almost onion-like knurled design that's slightly countersunk into the case flank and has the AP logo on it. The dial is almost one and the same as the 4101 movement. We do have a dial with a sort of concentric pattern off-center and applique rose gold Roman numerals. And the nice thing about this is that, unlike the standard version of the watch, this one actually has a small amount of luminescence. When I say standard, I mean the steel watch. The steel watch doesn't have luminescence. This rose gold version does. I guess more is better, right? More features are better. We have a small silver sunburst dial underneath on which the corporate name is printed in a vaulted fashion. And you can see that exposed dial side screws have elaborated the concept that F.P. Journe first proposed back in the 90s. What was ridiculed at the time is now hugely influential, and you can see the influence here, not just on the dial side of the movement, but on the dial itself. Now, the Roman numerals are applied gold, the hands are gold. We have a somewhat overlapping small seconds right there with an alpha hand. You can see these are alpha hands, not dauphines. We have a set of rhodium-plated bridges and plates, with the exception of a gilded full balance bridge. Now, the watch has a full balance bridge and a free-sprung balance like a sports watch, making it very shock-tolerant. On the reverse side, you can see that there is a rotor. It's automatic winding. It has ceramic rotor bearings. It's a bidirectional winder for smoothness. And we have the coats of arms of the Audemars and Piguet families, to remind you that AP is the oldest continuously family-owned and run watch brand in Switzerland. Again, 60 hours of power reserve. This all beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and it pivots on 34 joules. On the reverse side, we can see the finishing on the rotor, but also circular Côte de Genève on the winding bridge. engine turning on the base plate, and then all of the screws in the movement are black polished, which is quite attractive. We also have satination on train wheels where they are available, and all of this is water resistant down to 30 meters. It is a spectacular watch, and a rare one, as we hardly ever see the 4101. Less often still do we see the rose gold version of it. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.